It's 6:45 in the morning on December 4th, 2024. Midtown Manhattan is still half asleep, but the city never truly rests. The streets glisten with yesterday's rain, and the air carries that sharp December cold that bites at your face and makes you walk faster. Outside the New York Hilton Midtown on 6th Avenue, early risers clutch their coffee cups, briefcases swing at their sides, and nobody notices the man in the gray hoodie and medical mask. Why would they? In post-pandemic New York, he's just another face in the crowd, just another nobody. But he's not nobody. He's waiting. At 6:44 a.m., a black sedan pulls up to the hotel entrance. A man in a dark jacket steps out onto the sidewalk. His name is Brian Thompson. He's 50 years old, a father of two, and the chief executive officer of UnitedHealthcare, one of the most powerful health insurance companies in America. He's here for an investor conference. A routine morning, a routine arrival. He doesn't see the hooded figure approach from behind. And then pop, pop. 3 shots, clinically precise. The gunman doesn't run wildly. He doesn't panic. He fires, pauses, clears a jam in his weapon with the calm of someone who's done this before, or at least imagined it 1,000 times and fires again. Brian Thompson collapses on the cold pavement. The shooter turns and walks, not sprints, walks toward an alley. Moments later, he's on an electric bike, disappearing into Central Park like smoke. By 7 a.m., Brian Thompson is pronounced dead. By 7:15, the largest manhunt in recent New York history has begun. And for 5 days, the world asks the same question. Who is he? Before we chase the ghost in the gray hoodie, we need to understand the man he killed. Brian Thompson wasn't just some corporate figurehead. He was a Minnesota native, a farm kid who worked his way up through the ranks of the American healthcare system. He joined UnitedHealthcare in 2004 and climbed to the very top. By 2024, he was overseeing a division responsible for providing insurance to over 50 million Americans. To some, he was a leader, a businessman, a symbol of the American dream. To others, he was something else entirely. UnitedHealthcare, like many insurance giants, has been criticized heavily for claim denials, prior authorizations, and policies that leave patients fighting for coverage while suffering through illness. Under Thompson's leadership, the company posted profits in the billions. Meanwhile, countless Americans reported being denied life-saving treatments, surgeries, medications. The irony? Thompson was killed outside an investor conference, not a hospital, not a charity event, a meeting where shareholders gathered to discuss profits and growth strategies. On the morning of December 4th, Brian Thompson became the face of a system that millions of people believe is broken. And someone decided that face needed to be erased. For 5 days, the killer was a ghost. Surveillance footage showed him before the shooting, entering a Starbucks on West 56th Street, ordering a coffee, flashing a smile that would later be plastered on every news outlet in the country. He wore a mask, but his eyes were visible. Calm, almost friendly. Investigators found the coffee cup he left behind. They found DNA. They found a fingerprint on a protein bar wrapper near the scene. They even traced him to a hostel on the Upper West Side, where he'd checked in days earlier using a fake New Jersey driver's license. But they didn't have a name. The night released photos. The FBI got involved. Crime Stoppers offered a $10,000 reward. The images went viral. Everyone was looking for the man in the gray hoodie, and yet he vanished. He ditched the e-bike in Central Park, changed clothes, left the city entirely, likely on a bus headed out of state. The precision was unsettling. This wasn't a crime of passion. This was a plan. Detectives combed through security footage, interviewed hostel staff, analyzed the bullets left at the scene, and that's when they found something chilling. The shell casings had words engraved on them: deny, defend, depose. These weren't random, they were a message, a reference to a book called Delay, Deny, Defend a critique of insurance company tactics written by Professor J. Feynman. The killer wasn't just angry. He was educated. He wanted the world to know why. But still, they didn't know who. December 9th, 2024. He's wearing a blue medical mask and a beanie. He's got a laptop open, typing quietly, nursing a hash brown and a coffee. An employee notices him, something about his face. Maybe it's the eyes, maybe it's the jawline, maybe it's just a gut feeling that something isn't right. She checks her phone, pulls up the news, compares the grainy surveillance photos to the man sitting 10 feet away. It's him. She alerts her manager. The manager calls 911. Within minutes, local police arrive. They approach the table cautiously. They ask for identification. The man hands over a fake ID, the same New Jersey license he used at the hostel. But when pressed, he cracks. He gives his real name, Luigi Nicholas Mangione. In his backpack, officers find a ghost gun, a homemade 9mm pistol with a 3D printed receiver and a suppressor. They find a handwritten manifesto. They find fake IDs, cash, and a Faraday bag designed to block electronic signals. The manhunt is over, but the questions, they're just beginning. Luigi Mangione was not supposed to be here. Born in May of 1998 into a wealthy, prominent Maryland family, Luigi had everything. His family owned country clubs, nursing homes, a radio station. He went to the Gilman School, an elite all-boys prep school in Baltimore. He graduated as valedictorian in 2016. He went on to the University of Pennsylvania, one of the Ivy League's finest. He studied computer science and engineering. He was brilliant. He was driven. He founded a video game development club. He had friends, ambitions, a bright future. By all accounts, Luigi Mangione was a golden boy. So what happened? The answer lies in pain. Somewhere in his early 20s, Luigi developed chronic back problems. Spondylolisthesis, a spinal condition that causes vertebrae to slip out of place. It's agonizing, debilitating. For someone young, athletic, and ambitious, it's a prison. He underwent surgery. It didn't work. He tried physical therapy, medications, alternative treatments. Nothing brought relief. Friends who knew him in those years described a gradual shift. He became withdrawn, frustrated, angry. He posted on Reddit forums about his condition, about the healthcare system, about the cost of treatment and the insurance companies that denied claims or delayed approvals while patients suffered. He read a lot. He read about corporate greed, systemic inequality, the philosophy of violence as a tool for change. He highlighted passages in books. He followed anti-capitalist thinkers. He consumed the works of Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. And somewhere along the way, Luigi Mangione stopped being a golden boy. He became something else. Inside Luigi's backpack, investigators found a 2.5-page handwritten document. It wasn't a confession in the traditional sense. It was a statement. Here's what it said, paraphrased, but close. To the feds, I acted alone. No one helped me. This was not a random act. To the American people, these corporations have grown too powerful. They exploit us. They deny us care. They value profit over human life. UnitedHealthcare is a parasite. They are all parasites. I apologize for the trauma, but it had to be done. He didn't deny the killing, he justified it. He called insurance executives parasites. He argued that the system was broken beyond repair, that peaceful protest had failed, that only direct action could wake people up. He signed off with the chilling line, "Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming." This wasn't insanity, this was ideology, cold, calculated, terrifying. And then something deeply uncomfortable happened. Luigi Mangione became a folk hero. Within hours of his arrest, his name trended on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. People posted his high school valedictorian photo. They called him handsome. They called him brave. Hashtags emerged: Justice for Luigi Ithrich, Healthcare Reform. Some users posted videos celebrating the killing. Others made memes. Fan art appeared. T-shirts were designed. A GoFundMe for his legal defense raised thousands of dollars before being shut down. Why? Because to a shocking number of people, Luigi wasn't a murderer. He was a symbol of rage against a system that bankrupts families, denies coverage, prioritizes shareholders over patients. Brian Thompson's death became a rallying cry for everyone who'd ever been denied a claim, forced into debt by medical bills, or watched a loved one suffer because insurance wouldn't approve treatment. This isn't to say the response was universal. Plenty of people condemned Luigi. They called him a terrorist, a coward, a killer who deserved life in prison. But the existence of support, vocal, visible, widespread, reveals something dark about the state of American healthcare. People were so angry, so desperate, that they were willing to lionize a murderer. It's a mirror, and what it reflects is ugly. As of early 2026, Luigi Mangione faces multiple charges in both state and federal court in New York. He's charged with first-degree murder in furtherance of terrorism, second-degree murder as an act of terrorism, criminal possession of a weapon, and forgery. Federally, he faces charges of murder through use of a firearm, interstate stalking resulting in death, and firearms offenses. If convicted on all counts, he could face the death penalty or life in prison without parole. His defense team has argued that he's being overcharged, that the terrorism label is politically motivated, that his mental health should be considered. They've pointed to his chronic pain, his isolation, his radicalization online, but the prosecution has been relentless. They've presented the manifesto, the engraved shell casings, the ghost gun, the fake kids. They've built a case that paints Luigi not as a tragic figure, but as a cold-blooded killer who planned every detail. The trial is ongoing. The nation watches. So here's the question we're left with. How does a valedictorian from a wealthy family, an Ivy League graduate with every advantage in life, become a killer? The answer isn't simple. It never is. Luigi Mangione lived on a razor's edge between brilliance and darkness, between ambition and despair, between understanding the system and deciding the system must burn. He's not the first. History is full of people who believed violence was the answer to injustice. Ted Kaczynski, Timothy McVeigh, Anders Breivik. They all thought they were fighting for something bigger than themselves. They were all wrong. Because here's the truth. Brian Thompson's death didn't fix healthcare. It didn't change policy. It didn't save lives. It ended one, and it destroyed another. Luigi Mangione is now a symbol to some, a hero to others, a monster. But symbols don't tell the whole story. The whole story is messy. It's full of pain, failure, radicalization, and a system that leaves people feeling invisible. This case isn't just about one man killing another. It's about what happens when people lose faith in institutions, when pain becomes rage, when rage becomes action, and when action becomes murder. So as this trial unfolds, as the cameras keep rolling and the hashtags keep trending, ask yourself this: what does it say about us, about all of us, that someone like Luigi Mangione could exist? That he could be celebrated? Maybe the answer is uncomfortable. Maybe it should be, because if we don't confront it, if we don't fix what's broken, there will be another Luigi, another Brian, another tragedy that could have been prevented. This is Strange Chapter, and this chapter isn't over yet. Subscribe for more true crime deep dives. Leave your thoughts below, and remember, the truth is always stranger than fiction.